Hello friends, thank you for tuning in. Today I have a great video for you on a great topic. And the topic is how to grow your business, especially your leadership team, using the E2 visa strategy. This is a great question because I always get asked by the E2 investors, can I bring my leadership team from my home country to join me to grow the company in the US? And the short answer is yes, it is possible, assuming they meet all the requirements, but it is a viable legal strategy to bring in your leadership team from your home country. As a preliminary point, it's important to note that the leadership role that you want to bring that individual, that person you want to bring into the U.S. to join you, must share the same passport, the same country of nationality as you, the investor. If that individual has a different nationality, then this strategy will not work. So it's key to share the same nationality. Assuming that is met, then the next issue is, what kind of leadership role will the applicant undertake? What kind of leadership role will they assume in the US? What position? So the regulations really talk about two types of leadership roles. One is an executive, and the other is an individual assuming a supervisory position, someone that has supervisory authority in the US. So those are the two types of leadership roles that can be brought in under the E2 visa. So let's talk about each one of them. So the executive position under the regulations, there's reference to the individual having the authority to make decisions involving policy. Someone that has a great authority to direct the company when it comes to the strategy of the company, both financial, growth, marketing, operational, at a high level for the company. This is an executive. Now, the other category that exists for leadership is someone in a supervisory position that is coming to the US that will exert great control and responsibility over the company or a major part of the company. These are considered supervisory roles that will also qualify for the E2 visa. So I've talked about executives and supervisory roles, two key positions for leadership. Now, how do we prove it? How do we prove that the individual will meet the requirements for an executive or a supervisory role? Really, the policies suggest that you can prove it with experience, with credentials, and with salary compensation. These are three variables that will impact the decision of the government official reviewing the case. So let's talk about each one of those. So credentials really involves the academic experience, the certificates, the diplomas that were obtained by the applicant individual. For example, where they went to school, what they studied, their transcripts, awards, these are all relevant. The second variable would be their experience. So you would submit a CV or a resume highlighting each of the key positions that the individual has had over his or her career. Definitely relevant. Especially if the individual has worked for some sort of affiliate or subsidiary or parent company in the home country for the applicant E2 enterprise. It's not necessary that their employees associated in the home country with the other affiliate groups, but if they are, it helps. Now, the lastly would be the salary compensation. The higher the compensation, the more relevant it would be to show that this person will assume a supervisory executive role. So someone with a low compensation, it's unlikely that they have that kind of authority in a company. So the more you pay somebody, the more likely it is that they are a leader, an executive, or supervisor. So things to consider. So again, I'll remind you, if you want to grow your E2 enterprise in the US, take advantage of the E2 executive or supervisory visa. It's a great strategy to not have to wait so long and have that uncertainty as other visas do. For example, the H-1B, you may or may not get selected because it's such a competitive visa. There's quotas, there's time limitations. With the E2 visa for your leaders, you don't need to wait for those H-1Bs. So you can just go right to it and apply. So it's a great strategy to make things efficient, to bring and grow your company. If you have questions, we'll be happy to answer them at Verdin. Thank you for tuning in.